My name's Debbie Garrick. I'm the Executive Director of Alumni Relations here at Winthrop. Okay, let's come on in. Well, the Little Chapel was the first place that Winthrop started. It was the birthplace of Winthrop University, which at the time was Winthrop College, and it was in Columbia. It was actually a stable house on the Ainsley Hall Mansion, and there's a complete replica of it still on the Ainsley Hall Mansion in Columbia. At the time that that Winthrop occupied it, I guess you'd say, it was being used by Columbia Theological Seminary. It became the home of Winthrop University in 1886. 21 students gathered here with our founding president, Dr. David Bancroft Johnson, and it's where we all began. It moved in 1936. It was moved brick by brick by the Alumni Association impetus, I guess you would say. They had for years worked on trying to get Columbia Seminary to dedicate it, to donate it to us. And so there was an agreement between those two entities. I mean, it's all the original bricks, and the original pews are still inside the chapel. And one of the claims to fame that makes this a National Historic kind of monument is the fact that, number one, Robert Mills was the architect, who's the same architect for the State House in Columbia and for the Washington Monument, and also that Woodrow Wilson, who was one of our presidents of the United States, made a profession of faith here on one of these pews because his dad was the president of Columbia Seminary when he was a little boy. It was in Columbia. It was in this building. Then there was another little area that it was in, another house that's no longer standing. But as it was beginning to expand, you know, the University of South Carolina was there. It wasn't, I don't know that it was called that at the time, but there were some colleges there. There was a need for a college in the upstate, so bids were taken. I know Spartanburg made a bid. I don't remember if Greenwood did or not, but there were several cities here, and Rock Hill, a little mill town, also made the bid, and they were going to throw in some bricks, and also the president's house, the current president's house, was occupied by a man named Captain W.H. Stewart, and he decided that, and that was his primary residence, and he said he would give up his house. And so Winthrop Rock Hill got the bid and won it, and Winthrop came here, and that's how it kind of landed in Rock Hill. It was a day of great festivity in Rock Hill. They said there were people waiting at the telegraph office at like 3 in the morning to hear whether or not, you know, what the decision had been made by the school board of where to put it. When you talk to people who grew up in Rock Hill, there are really two things they're proud of. I mean, you'll hear them talk about the bleachery and the industry of the textile companies, and you hear them talk about Winthrop. Those are the two things that people associate with Rock Hill.
Now, once upon a time, they sang the Vodeo-Do, but that was long ago. Then everybody started into boop-boop-a-doop. They got tired of that.